Hi, good evening, one and all. I hope all of you safe. Okay, so in the last session we had discussed on the basic terms of accounting. Okay, so in the last class we had discussed on these basic terms of accounting or the basic terminologies of accounting. Okay, so without these basic terms, without understanding these basic terms, we cannot go ahead if we will not understand the accounting subjects. Okay, so without these basic terms, that's why so these basic terms are very important or it's needed to understand this. Okay, so now see, in the last session we had discussed the what in by entity, what in by business transactions, what in by capital, what in by assets, liabilities, drawings, debtors, creditors, goods, purchases. Okay, so I hope all of you understand this. Okay, so just I will revise that. So what in by entity means what? It has the physical existence of the enterprises, is nothing but the entity. And what in by business transactions, the business transaction means what? So transaction means what? The exchange or exchange worth between the two entities or the two enterprises or the two businesses, nothing but what the transactions. And you know there are two types of the transactions, which are those cash transactions and the credit transactions. And what in by cash transactions? So cash transaction means what? So when we are immediately paying after purchasing the goods, immediately we are paying to the suppliers, is nothing but what the cash transactions. And what in by credit transaction means what? Immediately we are not paying, but in a future we are going to pay, so is nothing but what? Credit transaction. So now see what in by capital. So capital means what? When the owner is going to start the business, and while starting the business, the whatever the owner is investing money in a business in terms of money or in terms of assets, is nothing but what? Capital. Okay, so next one is what? Asset. So what is asset? Asset means what? The property of the business or wealth of the business, is nothing but the assets. Okay, and the liability means what? It is the responsibility for the business to pay third parties, is nothing but the liabilities. Next, drawings. So drawings means what? The owner of the business withdraw the money from the business for his personal use, is nothing but what's the drawing. Suppose in end of the year the business got rupees 10,000, it's a profit. What? 10,000 rupees profit. Out of that profit, if the owner withdraw rupees 2,000 from this 10,000, so the remaining is rupees 8,000, and they withdraw rupees 2,000 for his personal use. What? His for his personal use. Okay, so it's nothing but what? This 2,000 is nothing but what? Drawings. Okay, so because they used in a personal use. Okay, so next, debtors. What in by debtors? Debtors means what? Who owes money to the business, who owes money to the business, is nothing but what? Debtors. And what in by creditors? Creditor means what? The business owes money to the third party, is nothing but what? The creditors. And what in by goods? Goods means what? It is the commodities. What? It is what? Commodity, or it has the physical existence, it is nothing but the goods. Okay, so the purchases means what? The business is purchasing raw material from the suppliers, is nothing but the purchases. Okay, so the purchase is also cash purchase is there, as well as the credit purchase is there. Okay, so now how to calculate the total purchase? Okay, how to calculate the total purchase? Suppose a business is purchased goods of rupees 5 lakh, okay, from the suppliers of rupees 5 lakh, and after receiving that per goods, they inspected. Okay, so the customers what in sorry, the business purchased the goods from suppliers, and after inspection these goods, so some goods are damaged. What? Some goods are damaged or some goods are spoiled. Okay, so it means what? 50,000 they return to the suppliers out of this 5 lakh. It means what? 5 lakh minus 50,000, remaining is what? 4 lakh 50,000. So this 4 lakh 50,000 is nothing but what? total purchases. The how to calculate the total purchases minus the purchase return. What? Purchase return. Okay, so this is the total purchase. Okay, so now whatever the further basic terms, whatever the remaining basic terms, we will discuss in this session. Okay, so just see. So for next one is what? Sales. Now what in by sales? Sold those products in which the business deals in. When purchases goods are sold in order to earn a profit are called sales. Okay, so now see what in by sales. Sales means what? So whatever the business is manufactured or produced, so these manufactured goods is sold to the, it means sale to the customers is nothing but what? Sale. Okay, is nothing but the sales. Okay, so whatever the activities dealing in the business, so these activities are going to sell in the market or to the customers is nothing but what? The sales. Okay, so next, stock. So now what in by stock? These are those goods which are left unsold in the business at the end of the year. The goods unsold at the end of the accounting year are called closing stock. Okay, so now see what in by stock. Stock means what? Which is remained with the business. What? Which is remained with the business is nothing but what? The stock. Okay, which is unsold goods. What? Which is unsold goods. Suppose in a business some 100 units manufacture. How many units? 100 units manufacture. Out of this 100, 80 units are sold in a market. What? How many? 80 units sold in a market. So remained with the 20 with the business. Okay, 20 remain. So this 20 remained with the business is nothing but what? Stock of the business which is unsold. What? Which is unsold. And whatever the stock is remain at the end of the year of the accounting year is called what? Closing stock. Okay, is called what? Closing stock. Okay, so next, expenses. Okay, so now see what in expenses. Expenses means what's the cost which business incurred for producing goods and service or for using service is called expenses. Okay, so the cost, the first of all see what in cost. And cost means what's pay for something. What? Pay for something is nothing but what? Cost. Okay, now what in by expenses? Expenses means what? After incurring expenses in the business, immediately we are getting the economic profit. It means what? Economic profit or economic activity we are getting is nothing but the expenses. Expenses means what? After incurring the expenses we are getting the economic benefit, means what? We are getting the profit immediately, so is nothing but the expenses. Okay, so we are expensing for the manufacturing purpose, and after manufacturing the products we are going to sell. After selling we are getting what? Profit, isn't it? So it is nothing but the expenses. Okay, so next, what is expenditure? Expenditure means what? The amount which is paid for increasing profit earning capacity of business is called expenditure. It is of long period nature. Okay, so expenditure means what? So expenditure means what? Which is expenses incurred for purchasing the fixed assets, and after 3 years or after long years, after 3 years or after 5 years we are getting the economic benefit is nothing but what? The expenditure. Okay, so if we purchase the fixed assets then it is what? Expenditure. It is not the expenses. Okay, so it is what? Expenditure. Okay, so next, what's loss? Now see what in by loss. Loss means what? When expenses incurred are more than revenue, then is this excess of expenses is called what? Loss. Okay, so it means what? Expense is more than the revenue or expenses is more than the profit is nothing but what? Loss. Okay, so now see the word in profit. Profit means what? The excess of revenue over its related expenses during an accounting year is profit. Profit increases the owner's equity. What? Owner's equity. Okay, so the profit means what's the excess revenue or the excess profit more than expenses is nothing but what? Profit. Okay, so next, in the next slide, see what in by revenue. Okay, so the revenue means what? These are the amounts received by a business for selling goods or services. This amount is received from day-to-day business activity in the form of rent, interest, commission, discount, dividend, etc. Okay, so now see what I mean by revenue. Revenue means what? Revenue means what? Mm, it means what? So whatever in the business, whatever they are manufacturing goods or services, and after manufacturing they are going to sell in day to days. Okay, so whatever they are selling and whatever they are getting the income, or whatever they are getting the profit, is nothing but what? The revenue. Okay, so it means whatever they are manufacturing and they are going to sell, so it's nothing but the revenue. Okay, next, what's gain? Gain means what's an income that arises from events or transactions which are not regular to the business, such as profit on sale of fixed assets, appreciation in the value of and assets. Okay, so now see what in by gain. So gain is nothing but just like the profit, but it's profits or it is the revenue, but it's not regular activity in a business. Okay, so it is not regular activity happen in the business. It means what? After 5 years or after 3 years, the business is going to sell the fixed assets, and on that they are getting what? Profit or the revenue is nothing but what? It considered as a gain, because it's not the regular activity in the business to sell the fixed assets. Okay, so this is not the regular activity. So after selling these fixed assets they are getting what? Profit, so is nothing but the gain, as a considered as a gain. Okay, so next was discount. So discount means what? Discount is the deduction in the price of the goods sold. Okay, so it means what? They are reducing the price of the product. Okay, so it's nothing but the discount. Okay, next, voucher. So what is a voucher? The documentary evidence in support of a transaction is known as voucher. So voucher means what? It is the documentary evidence. Okay, it is the documentary evidence of the transactions. So there are in the business, there are so many transactions are taking place, so for the transactions they are giving what? Evidence. What they are giving? The evidence, like the voucher. Okay, so now see there are three types of the voucher. First one is a memo, second one is a invoice bill, and third one is what's? Receipts. Okay, so now see, if the cash transaction is there, what? If the cash transaction is there, then the business will give what? Memo. What? Business will give what? Memo. If the credit transaction is there, then it will give what? Invoice bill. What? Invoice bill. And if it is there, then they will give what? Receipts. What? Receipts. Okay, so like this voucher is there. So I hope all of you understand these the concepts. Okay, so what do you mean by voucher, what do you mean by discount, what do you mean by gain, what do you mean by revenue. Okay, so what do you mean by expenditure, loss, profit, as well as the sales, stock, expenses. Okay, so I hope all of you understand. If it is not understand from as well as earlier lecture, if it is not understand as well as this lecture, if you not understand, you can contact me. Okay, thank you.